Good morning, this is Jack from theartofchart.net, and this is the pre-market recording for Monday, the 27th of July. Our disclaimer: we do this for educational purposes only. We're here to share our technical analysis with you. We hope you can take some of what we're doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, but not here to issue trading signals. Now, ES. ES has gone down to the 3190 area as expected. We're seeing a bounce as expected. I think this is a very nice setup to form a right shoulder. We don't actually need to go any significantly higher than this to get a right shoulder, but what I would note is that of the 6 indices I'm watching here, I've got a 6-minute buy signal fixed on ES, another one on NQ. We don't have one on RTY. We also have one, though, on YM, DAX and ESTX. That was a lot of 60-minute buy signals. Chances are this is going to deliver some more upside. Stan's talking about a target in the 3250 area, or at least he was talking about that in Chart Chat yesterday. And hang on, let's see what he's saying this morning. Looking for 36 as a 3 up this morning. Resistance expected, lower lows likely if we convert, look for 45. Okay, that looks reasonable to me. And the ideal right shoulder high would be up here in about the 30 area. We can certainly go higher. If we get over 50, I'll be concerned because sometimes you start forming a right shoulder and then it goes up and it doesn't stop. That's worth noting. And if we see a break over 3250, I'll be concerned that we're heading back to a retest of the high. I'll talk more about that on the assorted big picture charts. NQ, and this is something I'm bearing in mind on NQ because we've come back here to test the weak pivots, and we're testing that as resistance on ES, and as I said, that could hold. Here, this is a double top that's broken down. It's broken down with a target in the 96.30 area. Obviously, there is potential here for this to reject back up into the high, and that is something I'm bearing in mind. RTY reached a possible head and shoulder neckline. Ideally, you would go higher to see that. We haven't got any positive divergence on this one, but I think it's likely to be carried along by the others. We are likely to see breaks over the weekly pivot. There's a lot of weekly pivots acting as resistance short term. Chances are we're going to see breaks over. I just don't want them to last. Ideally, we'd be back below by the end of the day, but I certainly don't want to see any significant breaks up. Here on YM, we have another nice looking double top that is broken down slightly. I'm concerned about a possible setup into a rejection of the high. We will see. DAX at a possible head and shoulder neckline, likely forming a right shoulder. ESTX is the one where I'm really not sure what's happening. It's no particularly obvious setup. This could be an upsloping head and shoulders here and forming a right shoulder. What I would say is we've got a 60-minute buy signal flex. Chances are we will see some more upside. On ES, in terms of a right shoulder here, ideally we would spend some more time forming it. It doesn't actually need to go significantly higher. Chances are it will, because it's going to have to go higher because we've got a lot of, I love highs where we've got lots of sell signals. I was hoping for one of those the other day. We didn't get one. This is a low with an awful lot of buy signals. I will tend to respect that. So I would expect to see some more upside, at least, and it's possible that we're going to head all the way back into the high retest. That's not the main view here, but it is always a possibility that needs to be borne in mind. Let's have a look at the bigger picture. Right, SPX, you can see gorgeous double top setup, head and shoulder setup. Really, really nice test. We've got 3276 on one side, 3205 on the other. I'm really liking this for a right shoulder. Ideally, the right shoulder would be in the 3238 area. That's about 3230. On ES. So we've got the back test of resistance in the 40 to 50 area. I'm not really expecting to see it get back over this trend line, so that's something I'll be watching today. We've got a 15-minute RSI 14 buy signal fixed, and we've got a possible 60-minute RSI 5 buy signal brewing. Sorry, I've written sell signal there. This is also interesting because I've just found this trend line the other day. This is a possible overall rising wedge from the March low, and this is a break below it. It's only, you'd expect this is the first reversal pattern you'd play out. You'd go lower, you'd probably form a larger one. That could be a head and shoulders. It could involve a high retest. Topping is a process, but this may actually be a sign that this is a significant high being made here at the moment, and that we're not going to go significantly higher than this trend line here. So that's under 3300. Watching that carefully, we will see. All right, on the daily chart, I've got daily. If we break down from the from the head and shoulders, then of course that gets us on SPX about 3200 area. I've got the daily middle band now at 3174. It's going to need to get back below that to open the downside. Obviously that's been pretty good support on the move so far. We will see. NDX rather. On the daily chart, we've got the daily sell signal fixed, which is good. We've broken rising support, which is good. It looks like a possible bull flag. That is bad, potentially, because this means that we could actually, this is a nice bull flag channel, and this is one reason I'm thinking we could overshoot and head back into a retest of the high. Let's have a look at IWM. On the hourly chart, not really a lot to say here. If we did go and retest the high, then it'd be a case for heading back and doing the full retest of the June high. Not any particularly strong setup there, really. On Dow, we've got a 15-minute buy signal again. This is interesting because this came and did a perfect test of the rising support from the June low. So I'm wondering about that. So obviously, if we were to find support here and overshoot to the upside, that could well open up a test of the June high, which would be well within this overall trend line. Although often you'd find you set up an alternate resistance trend line rather than this megaphone, which would be rather hard to reach up here. So watching this, I'm not. When we get back into resistance here, I'm going to be watching for a reversal setup. We will see how that goes. If we get something nice, I'll call it. But we need to see something nice, and we need to see the bears need to perform when we get back into the 32, 40 to 50 area, because they need to turn it back down there. If we overshoot, there is most definitely upside potential to retest the high on SPX and retest highs on NDX, on Dow, and so on. We shall see. Not every head and shoulder pattern that starts forming perfectly actually finishes. Okay, DX. DX has continued down hard. Now, this has had ripple effects on precious metals, but I've been looking for a touch of my bigger picture trend line, support trend line in the 94 area, and we have gone through it. This could be a bullish underthrow, but it doesn't have to be. And bigger picture double top support is still significantly down from here. We could just be running through this support level, or it could be expanding into a channel. You'll see. ZB hasn't got up to a retest of Friday's high yet. Really, we're going to need to see some downside action on equities to have a big push up to the upside. I think we may well get that, but I think ZB's may well just kick around until we get positive signs that is happening. CL, it's up in the resistance zone. We've got a daily sell signal. What's it waiting for? Equities, I think. So there's a nice setup here, decent looking double top to get us back into the 31, 32 area on a sustained break back below 37. But I think equities is going to need to turn and take CL down with it, and I think we're just waiting for that. We've been waiting, obviously, a while. This has been tracking sideways really for 2 months. NG. I've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. Got very strong support, weekly pivot, monthly pivot. This could be a double top or a topping pattern forming. Keeping an open mind, as long as this support is holding, I'm leaning higher. GC, this has actually had a very interesting night because DX has been heading down. GC has cascaded up. It has gone through my resistance trend line. It hasn't quite killed the 60-minute sell signal, but it's thinking about it. But more interestingly, it's finally made. Some of you from Chart Chat may recall that I was talking about the whole of the bear market in GC being effectively a bull flag with a minimum targeted retest of the 2011 high. We have just retested that 2011 high last night. Going to likely retested in RTH today. That's at 1923, I think. 1923.70, I think it was. So that's held quite a while, and we've just broken it. Is there a strong sign of reversal here? I don't know. DX seems to be on a mission to the downside. It does tend to overshoot to both the upside and the downside, so I'd be hesitant about going in front of this. SI had a strong night. We had a nice looking potential level top here, and it went straight through it. We're up in the 25 area, hell of a move up from 18 here, just really a few days ago, 3 weeks ago. 60-minute sell signal is fixed, might deliver. Don't have any trend lines there at the moment. I'll be looking. HG, still wondering if we're seeing a flag forming here with flag support currently in the 2.83 area. Not seeing anything really to suggest that isn't the case. USD is continuing up. We're on a 60-minute sell signal, which is having about as much impact so far as the bicycle is on DX, so which is to say none at all. If we didn't already have a sell signal fixed, we'd have another one brewing here. We shall see. GBP USD has gone back, retested this high, gone through it. I've got a bigger picture trend line in the 1.32 area. It could be headed directly there, but we've got annual pivot resistance at 129.06 just above, so watching that when we reach it. USD JPY has gone lower, considerably lower. I was wondering about a possible target in the 104 area. We're getting close to that. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, but it's not had much impact so far. USD CAD has actually held up pretty well overnight, still hasn't retested this June low, which I'm expecting to see sooner or later. Sooner, probably, I think. USD Australian dollar, we got a buy signal fixed. It looks like it's heading back to this high. This has already made the possible near miss target, but chances are, well, this sort of setup would normally deliver a retest this high, so that's what I'm looking for. NZUSD likely to retest the high as well. 60-minute sell signal reached the possible near miss target, no current divergence beyond that. KC has gone higher, 110 area. This is a nice move. I've got a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing, but not really an awful lot to suggest this isn't going higher. It's disappointing it didn't do the full retest here. This was that was disappointing, but you don't always get it. SB, we're wondering whether this has already found support on the flag. I do have a possible trend line drawn in here. We are getting back to flag resistance in the 1220 area. If it breaks up beyond it, then that should deliver 1240, and I'm not seeing a lot of reason to think it would stop there. Wheat, we are playing out. We had a bit of a retracement that had me concerned this IHS was going to fail, but it hasn't failed. This has got a target in the 2340 area, and I think we're on the way there. Testing the monthly pivot at the moment. Sorry, that was cocoa. Wheat. Looks like it wants to retest this high. This could be a flag forming. A little hard to tell, to be honest. Could well be heading higher. I think Stan's leaning higher on this. Corn, I was thinking we had a beautiful sequence here. We had a buy signal, retest this high, then we had a fail that made target, then we formed a double bottom here. This double bottom's got legs. We made the buy signal possible near miss target, so it's not got a buy signal to support it, but if we can get back over the weekly pivot, we get back to testing possible double bottom resistance in the monthly pivot area. If this continues down, this is likely to be heading for a test of 315. Soy leaning towards seeing a retest of the high, holding the weekly pivot at the moment, no current negative divergence. Live cattle, likely flag forming, flag resistance currently in the 106.25 area. And lean hogs, possible flag forming, I'm thinking. So at the moment, I think Stan's feeling that a significant low is in. That's possible. So we will see. So if this was a head and shoulders, it would have been validated, but this could be a flag forming before another move up, keeping an open mind. All right, what questions we got today, guys? What targets am I seeing to the upside on USD? Let's have a look. Well, bigger picture, I'm actually better off showing you the DX chart to show in the really bigger picture what I'm looking for here. And I'll show you the USD chart too. But I think what we've been watching here for years, and this, if someone asked me last year whether I thought that DX could retest this high, and I said yes. And what I was talking about was it forming the potential second high of a double top. Now, this is a double top that on a sustained break below 88 would have a target in the 73 area, and I'm thinking that target, that may well be coming. And I think that target may well be made. So on the much bigger picture, I'm thinking that the DX could go down an awful lot, and I'm thinking the euro could rise an awful lot. On the bigger picture, what does that awful lot look like? Well, let's have a look at the monthly chart. We're coming close to declining resistance here. I've got that in the 120 area. Now, this isn't a flag. It's too big. But if we see a break up above it, then we could go considerably higher. We've got a significant resistance level here in the 126 area, and that is the 200-month moving average. Not something I'm normally looking at, but it has been significant here. Low, break below, high, so that's something I'd be watching. Otherwise, I'm thinking this would probably be a very large bear flag forming, depending on what happens with DX when it breaks down below the double top support, which I'm thinking is probably likely to be coming in the next few months. In the short term, I think the next obvious target is this area here in the 118 to 120 area where I've got trendline resistance, and I'm thinking we're probably going to be hitting that next, and that may or may not deliver a pause, which it doesn't need to do. Okay, right, what else have we got, guys? All right, welcome. Right, on the key today is, do we get over the week? Do we get over the week pivot, which I'm leaning towards seeing just because of the large number of buy signals here on the 60-minute charts. It's my pleasure as always, guys. I love doing these. It's so after that, I'm thinking Stan's got his through resistance 35, which would be absolutely fine for a right shoulder. Might not be quite enough for the targets, but they don't obviously have to reach target. They just usually would. And then I'm going to be looking really 40 to 50 area is the bottom line where the bears really need to deliver something if we get that far. If they don't deliver something, then we can head back to retest. That's not the primary thing here, and we've got beautiful patterns setting up, but sometimes a head and shoulder, right shoulder starts off and doesn't stop, and it heads back into the retest. We could see that here. There's not a bad setup for seeing that here. So that 40 to 50 level is where I'm really looking hard for a topping pattern, 5-minute divergence, 1-minute divergence, and a pattern to set up from this low. I'll be watching that. I'll post it on Twitter, and that is going to be the key for the first 2 days of this week. If we go through 50, my advice would be don't fight it. If it's going through, then it may well just go straight to the retest, and we could go higher, potentially up into the 3,300 area. Although at the moment, I think the setup is not favouring going significantly higher than that. All right, great. Cheers, guys. My pleasure as always. And I will catch you on the Twitter feed later. Oh, and I'll be doing a post today.